Today we took the vocabulary quiz for September 20th, and I just wanted to spend a little time going over some expectations from it so you can see what you're looking for. I'm going to spend the same time with students in class, so we're all on the same page about expectations about vocabulary. So far we've had 2 vocabulary quizzes in the first 25 days of school, so every, basically a little over 2 weeks. Gives us some depth on these keywords that are in our Reader's Theater, and we're going to start a new Reader's Theater here starting sometime middle of next week, so we'll have another vocab quiz for probably at least 2, maybe 3 weeks, kind of fluid as we go through. So taking a look at the first one, write the opposite of companion. Opposite, antonym, are keywords that they're going to need when they're taking some of these vocabulary quiz. And so we know that a companion is a friend. So some of the responses I had today were not a companion, but I was looking for the opposite. An opposite is a word, is one word, or an antonym is one word. Meaning, we're talking about definitions of companions. So what's the opposite of a friend or companion? We had 2 answers that one student actually wrote one that I wasn't even thinking of this morning that would actually work: foe or enemy. Either one works. And again, knowing the definition of friend, then coming up with, using your language skills to come up with an opposite as a discussion. That's a pretty challenging question to start off with. Again, trying to build up the vocabulary of going back through and saying, foe, enemy, these are opposites of friends. Draw an array with 2 rows of 3 columns. 2 rows. 1, 2. And when we draw math, we're going to take our math test tomorrow. Draw the rows first. Okay, some of them did this, and then some students wrote 3 columns over here. Well, that's not an array. An array actually has we've been consistently using circles, but it's all in one picture. We had some students draw 2 rows and then 3 columns over here, but it needs to be on the same picture. So 2 arrays and 3 columns will be 2 rows of 3. That makes it an array, or you could have gone 2 rows and columns like this. I could have accepted this as well if it was all in the same picture. Either one would work. 2 synonyms for odd, and again, I read the directions to all these, and if students don't know how to read opposite or companion when they get to a question, I spend time and I'll read the words for them. So I read this, write 2 synonyms for odd. Tacky is an odd bird. Well, odd means, one of the definitions was strange. Another one was unusual or weird. So a couple different definitions they could have put down there, but I just needed 2 synonyms for odd. And describe a way you can be graceful. This is where it got a little tricky. So students were thinking, okay, well, I might be able to tell you the definition of graceful, but to describe a way I can be graceful is actually having to apply it. So I had some students write about when I dance, I am graceful. Use that word in a sentence, apply the definition. You can even say when I dance I am graceful because I don't trip. Or the more detail they go into, the better. This is just going to enhance their vocabulary, being able to understand the graceful, what that means in an elegant manner. On the back, just going to get into the matching. This is where the definitions come in, or if they're able to read those. But again, I read them for them. So if they don't know how to read enthusiastic and sincere, and they point to and they raise their hand saying, I need some help with this. Absolutely, I read them for them. So we got dreadfully, hardy, class, furious. Well, furious, I tell them today, we talked about it afterwards, that start with the one you know. Furious is pretty easy. Furious means mad. Which one has mad? Scan through, bad, tightly, firmly, enthusiastic, sincere. Oh, mad, A. Okay. Also taking a look at these, you got clasp. I know that's to grip something or to hold firmly or tightly, which would be C. And then I've got hardy and dreadfully. I know in Tacky the Penguin that the penguins are singing loudly as dreadfully as possible, which is awful, very bad. Sunrise on the Iceberg is the song that they sing in the Reader's Theater script, but till you see some of those performances. And that's D, and then enthusiastic and sincere. So even if you don't know enthusiastic and sincere, you can by process of elimination figure out that hardy means B, a hearty slap on the back. Enthusiastic and sincere. And then down at the bottom, number 6, it says, name a time you were impatient. So you gotta understand the impatient, the definition for that, and then you gotta apply that definition. So impatient means in a hurry or unable to wait. Where's the time that you were in a hurry or unable to wait? So applying that, I was impatient. Again, using that word is a great practice to get into. When we were stuck in traffic, I was yelling at the cars to move. Again, the more details, the better. So that gives you an idea of what some of the application is. It's not just memorizing definitions on this vocabulary, it's applying definitions. And that's a skill moving forward. You're going to have weekly vocabulary quizzes next year. Mrs. Callan's third grade reading class. This is a review every 2 or so weeks, 2.5 weeks. This is just a quick way to kind of get into some more depth of some of the words they've been exposed to. We practice Reader's Theater 4 days, 5 days a week on Tacky the Penguin, and Click Clack for the Cows to Type. Gives you an idea of some ways to practice at home for the vocab. Thanks.